Have the arrests begun? Well, certainly looks like we're moving in the right direction. I've got a couple of big stories that broke yesterday. I mean, yesterday, I wish it were Wednesday because then we could have called it Winning Wednesday. There was just so much that came out. Story after story after story. And of course, then you had the king and the queen and the speaking in Congress and then the dinner last night. We're going to try and break through all of this, piece it together for you. Coming up, hang on, folks.
News, weather, and traffic. And the biggest stories of the day. We're talking about what matters most in West Michigan and beyond. This is the Big Three. Now, today's Big Three.
Stories that matter most. You'll be talking about these around the water cooler, the dinner table, no matter where you are. Big Three, powered by our friends at Heartland Home Mortgage. Dave Galloway and the team standing by. I want to help you with whatever it is. Buy, refi, home equity, line of credit. They're going to take care of you in multiple different ways. They're faster. They're better than the big banks. We love Dave and the team. And I know they'd love to help you. They're standing by to make that happen for them. So reach out today at hhmlending.com.
Number one.
The Quality Clearing Center, folks. Breaking news was raided in Minneapolis yesterday. I saw this story come out just as we gotten off the air with the after show, and I said, whoa.
Now, large-scale raids targeting federal fraud currently underway. Federal agents seen leaving the Quality Learning Center, and Brooke Taylor has more of that and what they're looking for. Brooke, good morning.
Hi, Bill. Good morning. Yeah, we have had a photographer there at the daycare since this morning, capturing video of those federal agents just going in and out of the building, collecting evidence as part of the DOJ's fraud investigation in Minnesota. Take a look at this video here. Sources tell Fox that federal agents are raiding about 22 businesses across Minneapolis this morning, and sources say many of them are tied to Somali-owned operations. Yeah. All of this comes after that viral YouTube video from Nick Shirley. It was back in December. In that video, he visited different child care centers. And you'll remember they were either closed or there were just no children inside.
Millions, if not billions of dollars in fraud on the line in the investigation eating up. Folks want to see accountability. Obviously, we may just be in the beginning steps. Speaking of accountability, Comey indicted again, this time with DAG Todd Blanche, talking about the grand jury. A couple of pieces of details evolved here. Where he was indicted, where the trial would take place if it moves forward, and what may really be happening behind the scenes. We'll get into that coming up in a second.
Today, a grand jury sitting in the Eastern District of North Carolina returned an indictment against James Comey on 2 counts. The first count is that on or about May 15th of last year, he knowingly and willfully making a threat to take the life of and to inflict bodily harm upon the President of the United States. Count 2, same day, May 15th, 2025, that the defendant, James Comey, knowingly and willfully transmitting in interstate commerce a communication that contained a threat to kill the President of the United States. Both of these counts carry a maximum term of imprisonment of 10 years.
That's just scratching the surface. There's more from the press conference yesterday. Oh, and Comey has opened his Yap, which I don't think, probably not a great idea for him. That story in just moments, folks. We'll dig through more on that. The president on Truth Social this morning, early about 4 a.m., after that big night of revelry with with the king and the queen, posting this: Iran better get smart soon on that nuclear deal. No more Mr. Nice Guy, alongside an AI image of himself armed amid explosions. He had a machine gun. And yeah, there's even more about the latest in Iran he posted the other day. We're going to get to that and the stories that matter most today. We'll give you a chance to weigh in as well. One thing I noticed about yesterday, the No Kings crowd, boy, they wouldn't stand for President Trump, but they all stood in Congress for an actual king. You can't make that up. Oh boy. Never a dull moment. But we're here with you through it all and give you a chance to weigh in on the conversations as they happen. So here's the best way to do it. Yes, you can use the phone, and we'll tell you how to do that coming up here in just a moment. But you can also use that talkback feature in the iHeartRadio app. It's a little bitty microphone next to a play button. Just tap that thing and start yapping, as the kids say. That's it. Rant, rave, ask a question. We'd love to hear from you. Comments, complaints. Well, the complaints take a number, right? But well, definitely want to give you a chance. Justin at justinbarclay.com is the email. And then the phone, as I mentioned, the old-fashioned way. We'd love to fit your phone calls on today. Doug Lloyd running for Attorney General. Joining us this morning, the Republican in that race, coming up at 9:35.
Call Justin now at 616-774-2424. That's 616-774-2424. West Michigan Live with Justin Barclay on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Yeah, I messed up. The moment the actual king comes to town, Democrats can't be bothered to protest. I don't think I even want to protest.
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor of
even Ilhan Omar, who calls it World War XI,
presenting to you His Majesty Charles III.
They're all standing, which I thought was, it's par for the course. That's Congress for you. And I actually got an actual king there. And Ilhan Omar, though, she did show up. You got to give her that. And meanwhile, people back home are getting raided like right and left. And you got to imagine she's probably concerned about this. The video that started it all. And yesterday, folks, this is the beginning of accountability. Is it going to be all of it? No, but this is the beginning. And it's good news. Those quality leering centers, the Somali fraud centers, all of those places. Yesterday, a number of them in Minneapolis got the boots on the door from the FBI.
Today, we're outside of Quality Leering Center. They spelt the name wrong, so they actually came and corrected it. The interesting about this daycare here in Minnesota is it received $1.9 million in the fiscal year of 2025, and it has a capacity for upwards of 90 children. And what makes this daycare even more interesting is that while the Commissioner of Children of Minnesota was saying that the daycare was closed on a live stream,
Quality Learning Center closed just over a week ago.
A Somalian man was outside talking about how they are open, letting children in, and right now they are funneling children into the daycare as well. And right now, they're not really leering much because they have accepted over $1.9 million, and now the Commissioner of Children literally said this place was closed.
Now, yesterday, I don't know if you heard the big news or not, but we did mention this. I think it's the tail end of the show. Just so you know, fraud, and imagine how much. If fraud accounts for the, millions upon billions, maybe even trillions. We've got all this debt racked up. What about the debt, trillions and trillions and trillions. How much of that is actually due to it would be my assumption. It's probably quite a bit of it is from the fraud, is from the waste, is from the abuse. Quite a bit of it, I would imagine. So anyway, fantastic news. They told us yesterday over 4.3 million people have been removed from food stamps under President Trump. A lot of that fraud, according to Brooke Rollins, who is the Secretary of Ag. And she made that comment yesterday, Mornings with Maria over on Fox News. And we caught a tail end of that yesterday. That's any one of these stories that have been massive news any day, any other
Rick,
day.
Terry, you've got some new news to break with us this morning. You know, federal data revealing 4 million fewer Americans are receiving SNAP benefits in the first year of this president's second term. These numbers are coming from your department. Enrollment falling 4.2 million people. And this is after the passage, of course, of the big, beautiful bill last July. What can you tell us?
Well, it is a really big piece of news, and obviously there's a lot going on in the world, but back here and in the homeland, what are we doing to make sure that the president's promise to return the power to the people to drain the swamp is really happening? Under Joe Biden, the SNAP program, the food stamp program, grew by more than 40%. Of course, I believe they were buying votes for the election, putting as many people on as they could. Within the first hour of me being sworn in last February, we sent a letter to every governor in the country saying, partner with us. Let's make sure that this program is really working for those who need it the most. And
that's it. It was this program. It was also, the votes quality, the QVF, the qualified voter file here in Michigan. The Secretary of State didn't want them taking a look at it. They didn't want the dead people removed off the rolls. And a lot of this, you start to stack it up and you wonder why. Oh, it all has one thing in common. So the fight has begun, folks, and it is on. Again, this is a big day. Now, Comey and the rest of the indictments that are coming down right now, how they tie into each other and what may be coming next. Because there wasn't just one, there were two yesterday. Comey and one of the advisors to Tony Fauci. Dr. Fauci. Uh-oh. Where'd he go? That's the guy. We haven't heard or seen much from him since he retired. Anderson, I retired. Well, somebody wake him up. He's going to get a wake-up call sooner or later. At least it seems that way. We'll tell you what the advisor actually was indicted for, because that's big news, too. All of that and more coming up. Don't go anywhere. We're just getting started. Attorney General candidate, the Republican Doug Lloyd, current prosecutor in Eaton County, joining us coming up at 9:35 this morning. Right.
Issues with style. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Wednesday, April 29th. I'm Robin Poffman. It's a Midwesterner.news original story. Recalls underway for Oakland County Board Chair Dave Woodward over a drone surveillance contract and secret consulting work. Recall organizers have raised issues with Woodward's secret dealings with companies angling to do business in Oakland County. Michigan's RX Kids Cash for Votes program for expectant mothers will expand to another 20 mostly Democratic districts in the lead up to the 2026 midterm election. And President and Melania Trump hosting King Charles and Queen Camilla for a state dinner at the White House.
Ladies and gentlemen, I offer a toast to 250 years of American freedom, and very importantly, to a great man, His Majesty King Charles III. Thank you very much.
For these stories and more, visit The Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
Is 2026 the year you achieve your health?
Welcome back in, folks. Boy, oh boy, the behind-the-scenes live stream is rolling right along fast and furiously over on the VIP Freedom Fam local stream. Good to see you this morning in the chat with Patriot Dean. Couple of lifers hanging out with us. Andrew Stuff, Salo Sue, good to see you too. Thank you so much. You guys, always a pleasure. Thank you for being here with us and making the chat active and fun over on Rumble. Such a time as this. History Diggers, Jen Lynn, Julianne, S.J. Beasley. Thank you all for being here with us. On the book, if you are just popping in, say, hey, Cindy, Terry, good to see you. Good to see you, Bunny. Thank you, Melissa, Sherry, Carolyn, and so many others for joining in today. If you're watching on the tube or you're watching on X, no matter where you're watching, let us know. I give you a shout out. Getter as well. Oh yeah. Let me not forget this. If you haven't done it yet, click share this morning. Somebody who clicks share, somebody who shares the program while we're on will be thrown in the running for something cool from the Justin store. T-shirts, mugs. Was it Jim yesterday that won? I think it was Jim was our winner yesterday. T-shirts, mugs, hoodies, whatever you want from inside the store. We'll let you pick something out and something cool. And yes, you can win multiple times. You can buy things from inside the store as well. We appreciate you doing that to support us. You don't make a ton of money on it, but it definitely is cool. And then you get great items. The America 250 shirts are coming your way soon as well. Back on the air. Stand by, folks.
By Michigan Auto Law, auto accident attorneys. Visit autolaw.com.
That's autolaw.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, patience is a virtue. And today we're seeing why. Not only did we see that former FBI director Jim Comey has been indicted, but also an advisor to Anthony Fauci has seen his find out era appear fast and furiously. We'll tell you why in just moments. One of the comments that stood out the most to me from Todd Blanche here has to be this one. This is the one that essentially says, yeah, you know, it's interesting. We're not going to have any. Well, we're not going to have any, special treatment for anybody.
Over the past year, this department has charged dozens of cases involving threats against all sorts of individuals. We take these seriously, every single one of them. For example, just today in the Northern District of Florida, there was a guilty plea from an individual who threatened multiple political leaders, including President Trump. In the Eastern District of North Carolina, where this case was indicted earlier today, there are multiple threats cases very similar to this one, including one where the defendant pled guilty recently to threatening former President Biden, another one that's scheduled to go to trial this summer, another one indicted, an individual was indicted for threatening Tom Homan. I say that to say that while this case is unique and this indictment stands out because of the name of the defendant, his alleged conduct case is unique and this indictment stands out because of the name of the defendant. His alleged conduct is the same kind of conduct that we will never tolerate and that we will always investigate and regularly prosecute.
All right, so what's Comey saying? We'll get into that coming up here in just a second. But first, no special treatment. Second, this is U.S. Attorney Boyle, the one who will, I believe, will lead that prosecution. This is in the Eastern District of North Carolina. Again, there's a reason why this is important. Last time he was indicted, or they tried to try, I believe that was in D.C. Well, you know, they couldn't indict Hitler in D.C.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney General. Earlier today, a grand jury in the Eastern District of North Carolina returned a true bill indicting Mr. James Comey with committing 2 felonies. Count 1, he knowingly and willfully made a threat to kill and to inflict bodily harm upon the President of the United States in violation of 18 U.S.C. 871A. Count 2, he knowingly and willfully transmitted in interstate and foreign commerce a communication that contained a threat to kill President Trump in violation of 18 USC 875C.
That's the Instagram post, by the way. We'll ask more about this coming up a little bit after 9:35 with current Eaton County prosecutor and Republican candidate for Attorney General here in Michigan. What all that means coming up here in just a little bit. He'll give us, I think, a little behind the scenes on the law with that. And then here's the other one from yesterday. David Morenz, a former senior advisor to Dr. Anthony Fauci, indicted for his alleged role in a coordinated COVID-19 origin cover-up. A cover-up. Court documents accuse him and his co-conspirators of deliberately falsifying official records to suppress the ability to FOIA documents related to the lab leak theory. Remember, this is the stuff we were booted off of YouTube and so many other places for. You weren't allowed to ask, wait a minute, what about this lab? So you're telling me they discovered this virus in a place that was just, feet away, steps away from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. It was so crazy, even Jon Stewart couldn't believe it.
Bill, the Justice Department has charged David Morenz, a doctor, with conspiracy, claiming he concealed federal records to counter evidence that COVID-19 may have leaked from a lab in China, all to help restore a controversial coronavirus grant. Morenz, a former aide to Dr. Anthony Fauci, testified before the House's COVID Select Subcommittee nearly 2 years ago about emails he'd sent in February 2021, claiming that he'd learned to make emails disappear after he received Freedom of Information Act requests.
Ever delete or attempt to delete a federal record?
No, but let me explain why. When I came there in 1998, we were instructed to delete emails or to move them into PST files frequently because they jammed the computer.
The Justice Department says Morenz used his
I don't know about you. If you're watching this on the behind-the-scenes live stream where you saw the licking of the lips, a little bit of a sign, at least to me, that he had something to hide there. That's just what I'm speaking of. Speaking of folks who might be a little. In fact, they asked about, coming up in a little bit, I'll let you hear it. There was a reporter that actually asked about this. Ann Whitmer by name. Remember when she did that television hit and there was that little sticker, that little sign on the table to her right? 8645. What about Whitmer? Is she going to be charged? You want to hear the answer coming up. We'll continue the conversation, folks. As I mentioned, just beginning to sort of scratch the surface on all of this and more. Talk about what's coming in our state. On the way after this on West Michigan Live.
FYI. Like, literally. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
This is a Money Minute with Laurel Stewart of Matson Financial Services.
Planning for retirement can seem overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. At Matson Financial Services, our money mentor.
All right, folks, like I said, it's a big one. No shortage of things to talk about today. I want to go back to that fraud, both in Minneapolis and then the story yesterday that we, like I said, we didn't have enough time to get to all of these things. But yesterday, that the story about the food stamp fraud, we'll get to that from the Secretary of Agriculture. There's more from that video I want to do. Let's test the line real quick with our good friend Doug Lloyd, Eaton County prosecutor. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Justin. I'm wonderful. How are you?
Hey, you look good and you sound good. You got that booming voice for radio as always.
Yeah, I've got that face for radio. That's what they tell me.
No, I got that part covered. Hey, thank you for doing this. Lots to talk about. We're going to do that coming up in just a little bit. He's running for Attorney General here as a Republican in Michigan. There's a lot on the line this year, and we'll talk about it all coming up. Thank you so much. Hang on 1 second behind the scene. As soon as we're clear of the news here, we'll get you right on.
Sounds great.
Thank you, sir. Stand by. There he is and ready to go. So I wanted to play this because you could hear it from the Secretary of Agriculture. Again, the theft, that's what it is. When you're ripping on, you think the money doesn't come from anywhere, these people, it just comes from the government. Well, where does that money come from? It comes from you and me. And I saw somebody mention this in the chat. In fact, let me see. I might have to paraphrase it because it's gone by so quickly. But essentially, this comment, so it really pisses me off, he said, when you work your whole life and then you see these people, and particularly these are people from other countries, foreigners getting all this money. And some of the reports in these food stamp fraud instances, there were people that were running the rackets, et cetera, that were driving Lamborghinis and things like that.
As of just a couple of days ago, we now have moved 4.3 million Americans off of the food stamp program. A lot of that is fraud. A lot of it is people taking the program that shouldn't have been. And then a lot of it is just a better economy. We've had a wage growth that has outpaced inflation for the first time since early 2021. This is a really big day. So people don't need food stamps. And that's the goal of these government programs. Let's move people from welfare to work. The dignity of work is a real thing in this country. But here's the shocking thing, Cheryl. Just one red state. And by the way, we only have the red states and then 2 blue governors. But really, the red states are the only ones who've been partnering with us, whose data we've been sharing. Previously, no data was shared. We had no idea where the taxpayer dollars were spent. Just one red state. The recent dump of data, we found SNAP recipients had more than 2,000 Tesla owners, 200 Alfa Romeo owners, more than 144 that were receiving food stamps were driving Porsches. Again, this is the data dumps we're getting because before we had no accountability on any of these programs. We now are requiring accountability. The blue states are suing us. They don't want to share the data. And can you imagine, this was a red state where there is actually some taxpayer accountability. Imagine what's happening in the blue states if that's happening in the red states.
Secretary, those examples you're giving are egregious, and that is what makes Americans so angry about fraud and abuse.
Shocking.
That is shocking to me, and not much shocks me anymore. Before you go, though, I do.
That, like she said, you remember when all of this really began, and these stories started to come out. Trump administration says, let's look at the data. Let's make sure we can clean house. And yet all the blue states saying, we're not giving you our data. Sorry, what? Wouldn't you want to clean these rolls up? Wouldn't you want to make sure that people that are breaking the law in your state are exposed? And, because the bottom line is, yes, when people are doing this, they're ripping off hardworking Americans like you and me, but also at the end of the day, when they do things like this, they make it tougher for the people who actually need the help to get it. So it's multifaceted here. And as I mentioned yesterday, it was like piece after piece, the find out era, like the dominoes starting to fall. We're going to get to that coming up in just a little bit. I still have to talk about Iran, too, and the latest there and what the president's message was yesterday. By the way, you're watching what's happening right now on the world stage. Energy prices, oil, gas. You know what gas? Somebody asked us yesterday. Why did gas prices just shoot through the sky yesterday? Well, in Michigan, we go through the cycling. It's partly that, but I do think there's some other concerns as well. Price per barrel it's right around where it has been, but these are concerns that, again, in times like this, you need to make sure you're doing the smart things. Preparewithjustin.com. We've been working with the folks, partners at My Patriot Supply. And, of course, they can help you, whether it's generators, if the grid goes down, you need some survival food just to have backups. This is a smart thing to do. I'm not asking you to go crazy, and it's also never wise to live in a constant state of fear. But be prudent and prepare. Prepare like it all depends on us and pray like it all depends on God. That's kind of my motto. Preparewithjustin.com, where you can check out all the gear that they have so that you can keep your family safe in uncertain times. And then the other thing is you can be a blessing to other people as well. They've got the survival seed vaults, like I said, all of that stored food, the electric generators with the solar backups and all of that stuff as well. Preparewithjustin.com. Take a look at that and give that a look. All right, back in just a moment, folks. Back on the air. Stand by. Here we go. Lots to talk about.
for any individual. Hey, it's Glenn Beck, and you're listening to West Michigan Live with our good friend Justin Barclay. The Glenn Beck program coming up at 10 on Wood Radio.
It's going to be a heck of an after show today. I can tell you, we're just flying through all the stories left and right, trying to get to all the stories that matter most. And we just talked about the food stamp fraud yesterday. That's another big one here in the state of Michigan. They'll be cracking down on. You've seen these arrests and the raids that are happening in Minnesota. Governor Walz trying to take credit for it right now. That's not a thing. And my question is, you imagine all this happening in Minnesota. They're not far away from us. And a similar Democrat government there.
Despite receiving state child care funding. Now, the location that you're looking at right now, it's the Quality Learning Center. This is the daycare. It went viral. It blew up on social media because of a sign outside with learning that was literally misspelled. The education secretary at the time claimed that the daycare received $1.9 million while, quote, masquerading as a daycare.
My question is, if there's that much waste, fraud, and abuse, and it's criminal, right, at this point in Minneapolis and Minnesota, how much is there in other blue states, and particularly in places like Michigan? That's a concern for a lot of folks paying their taxes and watching this. Eaton County prosecutor is running for attorney general. He's the nominee here in Michigan as a Republican. Doug Lloyd joining us now. Doug, thank you so much for being here with us today. And this story, again, a lot of people very concerned about what they're seeing play out, and particularly how much it costs them each and every year. Is this type of thing happening in a state like Michigan, dare I ask?
Justin, it's great to be with you. And you know what? You are not the first person to ask me that as I've been on this campaign trail. And, we actually have examples that are occurring. There was one right over there in West Michigan with you where a woman was getting federal funds brought down, and she created 2 daycare centers that never had kids go to it. And she was prosecuted by the feds just recently. And so, yeah, I believe it is happening. I can tell you here in Eaton County, our economic crime unit has worked with the state as far as welfare fraud for the last 15 years. We've prosecuted that in the Tri-County area for the local counties. And so, yeah, it does happen, and we need to crack down harder on it.
Yeah, so what is the role, obviously, as Attorney General? We've seen this current Attorney General, Dana Nessel, spend a lot of her time suing, the federal government, the Trump administration, wasting our tax dollars on things like this when we could be really going after folks who are committing. And in fact, apparently some of these folks are Democrat voters, but they're committing these crimes. What does that look like?
Sir, and the Attorney General should be doing that. That's one of the responsibilities. If you just saw in the papers in the last couple of days, the state, legislature has set money aside for additional welfare. And, that's money that is supposed to go to the citizens who need it. And in those, those articles that you just put out there to your viewers, we're seeing where, people are taking advantage of that system. The Attorney General should actually be focusing in on that. Let's move the people around so that we can actually have the investigators investigate this welfare fraud, working with DHHS. Of course, that means that we're going to need a strong Republican governor to come in and actually redo that DHHS department, and then allow us to actually be able to go in and prosecute those individuals who are committing the fraud. Because why, as taxpayers, are we paying for someone else to drive around a Tesla or a Porsche?
Yeah, fantastic question. Doug Lloyd, who is running for the Michigan Attorney General, he's a Republican here, and the Eaton County prosecutor. I've got to ask this big breaking news. We're starting to see indictments. Maybe you can walk us through. I know it's a federal level. Things are a little different. But one of the questions that's come up about what we're watching play out, particularly with Comey, there's a Michigan connection we'll talk about here in a second. But first, Catherine Herridge posted yesterday that she said, while the Comey indictment is thin, it creates leverage and may be a holding charge. The timing, she says, Comey indictment drops his former CIA director Brennan investigation, and Florida enters final chapter. Brennan, a driving force behind the Russian collusion narrative, recently complained to MS Now about alleged government weaponization. Now that he's a target, Part of this, he said, is to harass, to try to hurt individuals reputationally, professionally, financially. She says there may be more to this story. And what else we're watching here is one of the things that may have hurt Comey, they say, was the fact that he deleted his Instagram post, and maybe that showed that he knew what he did was wrong. And I'm wondering, I'm sure he got a few phone calls and messages and things like that during that process. But can you make sense of what we're watching play out here?
I mean, when we're talking about the indictment aspect, obviously that's a federal thing that we don't use at the state level. But what it allows them to do is actually bring charges and then look for further charges. It's a little bit different than what happens at the state. At the state, we're really focused on those facts and evidence. And it's our responsibility to really hold our cards close to our chest until we're able to make sure that we're able to prove the facts and evidence, put the charges together, put it in front of a court, and actually have them sign the documents. Then we go into the court system. With the indictment, that allows them to get them under the radar, and then it allows the federal government to actually look for more. And so that happens at a different rate than it does at the state. And that's why at the state, you should always see your local prosecutors or the attorney general really holding their mouth closed until they put those documents in front of the court.
Mm-hmm. Interesting side piece here. Let me bring you the next connection here. This is Governor Whitmer with the 8645 sign in the back while she was doing a hit on MSNBC, I think at the time, a couple of years back. The question was yesterday, and I thought it was kind of fascinating. It was actually raised as they had this news conference with Todd Blanche. The question was raised about what about other people? Who else has maybe threatened the president?
Expect more indictments of this sort. For example, in 2020, Gretchen Whitmer did a TV hit with 8645 on her desk in the background. Is that the kind of thing you would pursue? And then just really quickly, should Comey expect to face more charges for his role in the Russia collusion investigations?
I'm not going to comment on other investigations involving Mr. Comey. He was indicted in the Eastern District of Virginia. That was dismissed on procedural grounds because of the judge's finding regarding the U.S. attorney. So that case is under appeal. As far as other investigations that are happening, it would not be appropriate or fair for me to comment on that time.
Interesting that she brought up Whitmer in this case. Could there be others that are charged down the road, whether it's Whitmer or anyone else, and under this serious nature of this crime?
And that's what I think you have to look at is that, they are looking at, at the wording of terrorism. I can tell you that I just got a call from a constituent this week about legislation that is being that is dropped in the state house in regards to expanding the words of terrorism. And this particular constituent was worried, was the language something that was going to be too much? But in reality, the legislature is saying, hey, all we're saying is that we're adding common sense words that a reasonable person should have known that having something out there could have been considered a terrorist threat. Now, in reality, having that 8645 like that, we know what it means, even if people want to play dumb about it. But the next question becomes, if you're really thinking about, the terrorist aspect, is there something there that would lead a reasonable person to believe that an action is going to occur? So was it free speech or was it a terrorist threat? Those are the questions that we're going to have to answer.
Doug Lloyd, running for Michigan Attorney General, and of course, he's Eaton County prosecutor as we speak. You're out on the campaign trail. You've been talking to folks. You've been crisscrossing the state, putting lots of miles on the car. And I guarantee you've had lots of folks, lots of different questions and concerns. What are you hearing mostly? Is it, the talk of some of the fraud issues? Is it the corruption in the state that people want to make sure is cleaned up? And that dials into that, some of that fraud. But crime as well, as we see, make sure that the folks who are, or as you'll be Michigan's top cop, but the folks that who are committing these crimes are held accountable. What are you seeing?
Well, and that's the interesting thing, Justin, is that when I'm talking to people aren't asking me who I'm going to sue. They're asking me what we're going to do to actually bring about prosecutions of crime. People are worried about drugs. They're worried about fraud. They're worried about all these things that are affecting their families. They're worried about the dollars that are just going out in the government. And they're wondering why, the state level government doesn't want to be transparent. That's something that you were playing earlier, right? Those emails. We do it at the county level. I don't know why it's so difficult to do it at the state level, but those are the common themes that we hear is that, people just want to feel safer. They want accountability. They're not looking for everybody to go to prison for the rest of their lives, but they think that people shouldn't just be let off the hook all the time. They'd like to see people held accountable. And that's why they're looking for us to actually stand up and say, we're going to do that job.
Common sense solutions, real, reasonable, rational. And I think finally a chance to get the adults back in the room. He's the Eaton County prosecutor running to be the next attorney general here in Michigan. Doug Lloyd, always a pleasure. Thanks you for taking the time. If folks want to find you online, maybe they want to help out or donate and volunteer. VoteDougLloyd.com. What's the best way for them to connect?
VoteDougLloyd.com or follow us out there on Facebook at Doug Lloyd Prosecutor. Follow and share with us. They'll see where we're going, where we're going to be next, and, what our policies are as well.
Yeah. Always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you, sir. And keep up the good work in the fight.
All right. Thank you, Justin. Have a great day.
You too. God bless. Lots more coming up, folks. Don't go anywhere. By the way, Kash Patel says it's just the beginning. These indictments that you're seeing, Comey and the assistant there to Anthony Fauci, just the beginning. What's he mean by that? We'll talk about it. Coming up, some more good news as well. Before we get out of here today, as we roll through another fastest hour in radio. CNBC right now showing markets open down a little bit. S&P down, NASDAQ down a little bit. Oil rising. Traders brace for Fed decision. That's coming today. Should be an interesting day to watch the markets. Sometimes it feels like a roller coaster ride as we see the president try to right all of the things that were wrong through the last several years, get things back on track for the country. No need to feel nauseous on that ride. You should feel comfortable and confident. Talon Wealth, guardingyournest.com. Mike Lester and the team take a holistic approach to retirement. So whether you want to retire today or tomorrow or 10, 20 years down the road, you can do it knowing that you're in good hands. And of course, they'll walk you through with the heart of a teacher how to get there. And folks, don't wait before it's too late. Go to guardingyournest.com or call them at 616-661-1000 today.
Tackling the hot button issues with style. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barclay on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Wednesday, April 29th. I'm Robin Poffman. Oakland County Board of Commissioners Chair Dave Woodward facing multiple recall efforts over a controversial drone surveillance contract and his secret dealings with companies doing business in the county. The Oakland County Election Commission approving language for 2 recall petitions against Woodward during a meeting packed with angry residents who want him gone. Michigan's RX Kids Cash for Votes program for expected mothers will expand to another 20 mostly Democratic districts in the lead up to the 2026 midterm election. The nonprofit saying it will provide payments of $1,500 and $500 per month to expectant mothers in Muskegon, Muskegon Heights, Jackson, Battle Creek, and areas of Grand Rapids and other locations starting this summer. The nonprofit already operates in 42 Michigan communities. For these stories and more, visit the Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
Voters are listening to the radio. Tons of them. If you're running for office, radio is where people are actually tuned in, not swiping past ads. Connect with communities everywhere and get on the air in just 48 hours. Visit winwithiheart.com. That's win with.
All right, folks, full speed ahead. Fastest hour on radio. Got good news coming up in a second. More arrests as well. That story. I got some great stuff from the King yesterday, from the visit, President Trump. Great audio. We could get through some of that in the after show. I think you're going to enjoy. Questions, comments, concerns, if any, you can drop them in the chat. Love to hear from you there. Let me see here. I should probably do a couple of quick things here. Okay. Yeah, I saw Governor Walz trying to take credit for everything the Department of Justice is doing yesterday. Is that cash? Is that cash with Whitmer there? Oh, that's good. That's good. Patriot Post girl Heather Dow over on X with some of the best memes. Holy cow. Thanks to the Getters hanging out today. Dan, good to see you. Mama Boone as well. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys being here with us today. And the latest, if you haven't shared yet, make sure you do. Share this broadcast out and tag me on Facebook. If you share it someplace else, tag me, whether you're sharing a Rumble or a Getter or something like that. And on Facebook, make sure you click that share button, and that'll help us get the word out. We need to break the algorithm. You know how Meta, Facebook, it's kind of funny. On one day they're our best friends, they like to say, and then the next day it's like not so much. So what can you do to help us? Just click share. Help us get the word out. Break through the noise. Truth, logic, and common sense everywhere. And you'll get in the running when you do. We'll pull somebody at the end of the show today on a T-shirt, a hoodie, a mug, and you do not have to be present to win. But you get to pick something out of the Good Feet, out of the store there. My store, not the Good Feet store. Pick something out of the store. We got a Good Feet store spot coming up. That's why I'm excited about the Good Feet store. All right, stand by, folks. Here we go. Back on the air.
Heart Radio app, powered by Michigan Auto Law. Auto accident attorneys. Visit autolaw.com.
That's autolaw.com.
The storm is upon us. The latest coming up in just moments. Thanks to the Good Feet store, keeping me on my toes for the news every day. Yesterday was a doozy. And keeping me on my feet and on the go, whether it's work or play, comfortable and confident. You can feel the same way. I've been ranting and raving about these folks at the Good Feet store 4 years now. A couple of different locations, 28th Street, right in front of Costco, or in Portage on Westnedge in front of Kohl's. Walk in today and see the difference at the Good Feet store. I think you're going to love it. Here he is, Kash Patel, in fact, talking about yesterday. This is just the beginning. The indictments you've been hearing about, call me.
I lived through it, and the media came at me then, too. That just shows you that when you're over the target, you keep pummeling the target because the media is going to try and pummel you. We are not going to take this and have not taken this laying down. We did already indict former Director Comey, and that's going through the judicial process. But we also, at this FBI, even though we uncovered what we uncovered back in the House Intel days, I had to come in here and find rooms that they hid from the world. I had to come in here and find access on our computer systems in restricted and prohibited case files that they purposely put in places for no one to see and find. We have found all this information. We are working with our Department of Justice partners, and I am never going to let this go because they not only have personally attacked the presidency of the United States and President Trump, but they tried to thwart our elections and rig the entire system. And that is not something that is going to stop. That is not something I'm going to allow on my watch. Right. But you just have to remember, they built this disease temple over 20 and 30 years. We've got all the evidence. I can announce on your show that we've got all the information we need. We're working with our prosecutors at the Department of Justice and their Attorney General Todd Blanche, and we are going to be making arrests. And it's coming, and I promise you, it's coming soon.
Well, Kash, hold on.
Well, you know, look, I know there's a lot of folks out there feeling it, right? I told you earlier, patience is a virtue. Yesterday, a banner day, by the way. It's also a fruit of the Spirit. What we're seeing right now and the timing, the dam feels like it's finally cracking. The reckoning is here, and I believe it's only the beginning. A banner day for accountability, the find out era. James Comey, the man who weaponized the FBI, leaked memos, turned the premier law enforcement agency into a political hit squad, has been indicted again, along with Fauci's assistant. The raids there the FBI did on the Somali leering centers, the fraud centers. This isn't chaos. What you're watching right now maybe feel like for some folks, but it is actually correction. The years of this two-tier justice system that we've been enduring, the little guy got hammered and the connected class just laughed all the way to the bank. We're finally seeing the pendulum swing back. Real investigations, real indictments, real raids, and the deep state isn't invincible. They're finding out right now. The bureaucrats who lied, leaked, looted, they're finally feeling the heat. And my friends, that's why I say patience is a virtue. We've waited. We've waited through the endless hearings, the stonewalling, the media spin, but look around right now. The American people, you demanded better, and now Trump and the administration of folks finally delivering. This is just the opening act, folks. More shoes going to drop right out of the mouth. You heard that, Kash Patel and so many others. I understand it. The frustration, yeah, I believe it when I see it. I get it. Just stay optimistic, stay engaged. Because one of the things they want to do most is try to keep you from being engaged in the process. Hopeless, helpless, they want you demoralized. I'm telling you, that's not the answer. No matter what the headlines say, God is still on the throne, and we're taking action. America's best days are ahead of us. And, you know, something else that folks are all too often worried about, the youth. Well, the kids are okay, too. Middle schoolers jumping into action to save the life of a bus driver was crashing. She was having a serious medical issue. Leah Taylor, unconscious in Hancock County, Mississippi. That's in Biloxi area. Watch what happened when the kids got in
Hancock County, Mississippi, Wednesday afternoon with a bus full of students when she had an asthma attack and lost consciousness.
She kind of sort of like fell over, like flopped over, and everyone started like standing up.
Here in the school bus surveillance video, you can see 5 students jumping into action, working as a team to stop the bus and save the bus driver.
I saw that the bus was veering off to the side, then I grabbed the wheel.
It's 6th grader Darius Clark who hits the brakes.
And the bus started rolling forward. It started like gaining speed, so whenever I clicked the brakes, it about threw me out the windshield.
Thank God today the driver, the kid's okay because they stepped up and took action. We haven't lost the youth yet, folks. There's still hope for this country. Those kids did the right thing. And today, they're all alive, and so's the driver because of it. And that is good news. More of it. The after show on the way. The show after the show. We'll do that next. Never a dull moment. Program is coming up. You can listen live or archive to all of this on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you download your podcast. Make it a great. God bless.
Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses. We forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, deliver us from evil. God is the kingdom, power, and glory forever. Amen. Amen.
WOOD Grand Rapids, WOOD FM Muskegon. The news is next on Wood Radio.
An iHeart radio station.
Guaranteed human.
Michigan, it's
all right. Rolling right along, full speed ahead, folks. Stand by. We got a Maha Missy update today and health update that you're going to want to hear about. A couple of big ones. We'll tell you about that here in just a little bit. In the meantime, let me get this show on the road. More good news during the after show as well. Stand. Get ready to strap in. It's going to be a heck of a ride. It's like drinking from a fire hose. Never a dull moment, but yes, you'll hear the stories you won't hear anywhere else, and we appreciate you being here with us for them today. I'm Justin Barclay. Welcome into the after show, the show after the show, folks. Thank you so much for being here with us, supporting the program, whether it's the partners that you support, you buy great things from, like Mike Lindell, MyPillow.com, MyStore.com. You need anything for your home, start with Mike. It's a great way to do it. Use promo code Justin and you support his fight for truth, logic, and common sense, faith, family, freedom, and more. Healthwithjustin.com. We know Maha, Missy, and the team with a big update coming at you today. I'm down more than 30. My wife's down more than 30. And, man, we feel better than ever. We're getting healthy from the inside out. And that Maha mission begins right here with you and me. QWithJustin.com. If you wanted to cut your cable and get rid of all that woke programming and funding that nonsense, you don't have to long to do that anymore. You can just go to QWithJustin.com and find out how you can stream those things to multiple devices, your TV, and all throughout your home, and take it with you on the go. We love it. QWithJustin.com. Way to get that done today. Folks are sharing the program. We appreciate you doing that. JustinBarclay.com will give you a chance to, at the end of the show before we're out of here, grab something cool, some swag from inside the store and more. Maha, Missy, as I just mentioned, coming up today, we're going to do this. We're going to talk about the senior advisor, that former senior advisor to Dr. Anthony Fauci. Fauci indicted. So he was trying to cover up the origins of COVID-19. Transparency reigning supreme here in the Maha movement. Speaking of supreme, the Supreme Court. And the case over pesticides, bringing out the Maha moms during the midterms. We got good news from a fast food restaurant who says they're switching to all grass-fed, grass-finished beef nationwide starting in just weeks. We'll talk about cellular rejuvenation to reverse aging and more in our Maha update coming up in just moments, a little bit later on the program today as well. So, where do we start? I've talked a lot. I didn't get to talk much about the well, I probably should. Iran and what we're seeing playing out. Yesterday, we told you the breaking news about OPEC. I told you there's a shot that gas could end up going down into the $2 a gallon range. That was yesterday. We found out yesterday that the UAE was getting out of OPEC, and that is also moving the needle. The president says they need to make a deal or else. In fact, I give you the full wording of what his statement was over on Truth Social. And then we have Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent has come out and said, Iran, it's kind of time is ticking for them. What they're seeing happen with Kharg Island and more.
Offers and into the country. We are partnering with our Gulf allies who, having been fired upon for almost 40 days, are much more willing to share the bank accounts of members of the Iranian regime in their countries. We are reaching out to banks, including Chinese banks, to remind them of that any Iranian goods and the purchases thereof are forbidden, and that the dollars would be sanctioned, and that we will press for secondary sanctions if there's a problem.
So the Gulf countries.
By the way, that's the financial pinch they've been putting on not just Iran, but the other countries that are responsible for a lot of this support that Iran's seen through the years and are bringing them, in fact, to their knees. Why do we know this? Just yesterday, it was early. And we didn't get to this yesterday, but the president posted this on Truth. Iran has just informed us that they are in a, quote, state of collapse. They want us to open the Hormuz Strait as soon as possible as they try to figure out their leadership situation, which I believe they will be able to do. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. So that is part of the back and forth. Now, yesterday was kind of a quiet day for Iran because we did have that in the morning. But it sort of, as I mentioned, it took a back seat. Probably the best way to put it, to everything else that we've been hearing and seeing. He posted on Truth Social this morning, no more Mr. Nice Guy. In fact, I love the meme that they use. He's got a machine gun in his hand. In fact, here, we'll just let you see it. Let me pull it up here for you so you can put your eyes on this. Iran can't get their act together. They don't know how to sign a non-nuclear deal. They better get smart soon. President DJT, and then he says, "No more, Mr. Nice Guy." That's the meme with the machine gun. Is that a? I could be. Is that? It's not a Scarface. It's some other movie. Either way, I don't remember. It is funny though. It's stuff like that just gives you a bit of a chuckle, because that's. What was he up till midnight last night, or even later with the king there in the visit at the White House? And then at 4 a.m., he's posting this over on Truth Social. Just hilarious to watch. That's the Iran update. Gas prices here locally up $4.29. They're down in some other places. I think nationwide average up a nickel. They're still trying to really put the screws to the president over gas prices. Although I told you yesterday how one man says it's possible that gas prices could drop down in the $2 range. I don't know. I just see a little bit more of a, I think, long range play being made right now. And I'm going to give him the room to move. And as the kids say, let him cook. So we're going to watch this play out and see how it does. I will say that'll play bigly into the midterms and elections. Was it Dan Bongino? We just played Jakash Patel. Dan Bongino on the Hannity podcast the other day. This hangout with Hannity. Puts the deep state on notice. I played some of this for you just the other day, but I thought this piece was worth it as well. Watch what he says when it comes to what is coming.
We have made enough dramatic changes. We put a ton of new FISA rules in place. I mean, Cash and I were on FISA probably 3-4 times a week in special meetings just for that. I brought in a lawyer just for FISA to go over that stuff. We put in new guardrails, new penalties. We reorganized the place so that intel was more manageable and you couldn't like hide pockets of intel. You're not going to be able to hide the PP tape now. They're going to have to change what we did, which is going to create a paper trail that I'm warning them, like, when they say it changes back to us again, we're going to find again. So good luck. I'm not telling you they're not going to do it. I'm worried about it, but I'm just telling you, we did a massive amount of change. And I think you're going to see, and I said it on my show, so I feel free telling you how, we're not done. I mean, that Comey indictment, if you think that was the end, like, you're out of your mind. We have made enough dramatic changes. We put a...
If you think that's the end, you're out of your mind. As I mentioned, just the beginning, what we're seeing play out right now and what is on the way. One other piece of good news that lots of folks should be excited about. I don't know if I'll play the whole thing, but Secretary of War Pete Hegseth saying the department will deliver a clean audit for their 2028 financial statements. If that happens, it's huge, by the way. The department never passed a clean audit. He says the era of excuses is over. And if they do this, I would hope that some of the Chicken Little Skies Falling, of course, libertarian class, would, some of these folks, because it is big, would admit.
Discipline, accountability, and transparency. These are the basic fiscal standards that every American taxpayer should demand from their government. It's what you deserve, but also what the Pentagon has historically failed to execute on time and time again. We need to be brutally honest with ourselves. For far too long, this department's financial reporting has been nothing short of a disaster. Today, that changes, as it has during this administration. The era of excuses is over. We're taking a sledgehammer to the broken bureaucratic systems of the past to finally provide the rigorous fiscal responsibility this building so desperately needs. Under President Trump, a clean, unquestionable audit on our 2028 financial statements, and it is a top priority for the Pentagon, has been since day one. To achieve this, I'm proud to announce the launch of the Joint Task Force Audit, JTF Audit, a relentless, unified team of service members, civilians, and private sector experts. We will steward every taxpayer dollar as if it belongs to the men and women who earned it, because it does.
Amen. If they get that done and it's clean, and boy, I'm curious as to what they might discover, that deserves a pat on the back. That deserves a round of applause. Some interesting moments yesterday. Obviously, King Charles not only at the joint session of Congress, but also with the president at one point. I'll give you a couple of highlights. Here he is gifting the president with a bell. This is really meaningful from the World War XI, as we know. As we know, Ilhan Omar has renamed World War II the World War XI submarine. HMS Trump sank several Japanese ships during the war. He looked so excited to get it. President Trump, in that meaningful moment last night during the dinner.
Together, we can meet the challenges of an increasingly complex and contested world. And speaking of submarine alliances, there was one particular AUKUS predecessor, launched from a UK shipyard in 1944, that served for the majority of her life, attached to the 4th Submarine Squadron in Australia, playing a critical role during the war in the Pacific. Her name? HMS Trump. So tonight, Mr. President, I am delighted to present to you, as a personal gift, the original bell which hung on the conning tower of your valiant namesake. May it stand as a testimony to our nation's shared history and shining future. And should you ever need to get hold of us, or just give us a ring.
Wow, what an interesting moment. Couple of those yesterday. Look, I'm not a big fan of the royal family, the king or any of that. I'm just not. But the way this whole visit played out, I think really will go down in history for the way that the president and the first lady put on the visit, number one, but also how the relationship kind of came together and some of the things that were said. In fact, some of the things that Charles said, I had to give him credit for. I thought were big moments. Big moments. In fact, I'll get to my biggest here in just a moment. First, a little more levity in his zingers. He was rolling some zingers out yesterday.
This said, our French friends can feel equally at home with a glance at a map. Indeed, you recently commented, Mr. President, that if it were not for the United States, European countries would be speaking German. Dare I say that if it wasn't for us, you'd be speaking French.
Look at the look on his face. It's kind of wow. He had another line about the big, beautiful ballroom and how the UK, how they were involved at one point with a bit of a remodel on the real estate there at the White House, or an attempt to do that. That was kind of funny too. But this was probably the most, I thought, meaningful moment yesterday, the joint session of Congress. And what he says here specifically about faith may have been the highlight of the whole visit.
The Christian faith is a firm anchor and daily inspiration that guides us, not only personally,
wow. I thought that was really something.
guides us not only personally, but together as members of our community.
I thought that moment, making that statement, and again, I didn't know what to expect from the guy, to be honest with you, when they said he was going to do this joint session of Congress. I thought to myself, well, we'll see. What does that look like? Is that guy going to come here and lecture us on climate change or something like that? Because that's kind of the role he's taken in recent years. And I didn't know what to expect. I will tell you, I was pleasantly surprised. Pleasantly surprised. As I said, yesterday, big day, lots of news breaking, and one of the biggest in our Rona Report style and in the Maha News update has to be the fact that this guy who was assisting Fauci, Dr. Fauci, he was indicted. And my question really becomes, okay, well, who's next? If they got him, could Fauci or some of these others be far behind? Welcome in our good friend Maha Missy with the latest updates. And this is, I think, one of the biggest and the best stories that we've seen come out because people want to see accountability. We want to see people in handcuffs. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
And particularly folks like this. We're talking about the advisor for Anthony Fauci at one point. His name is David Morenz. He's this former senior advisor. He's now been indicted, coordinated with the cover-up of the origins of COVID-19. Now, I remember a time, I don't know about you, Missy, but I remember a time when you weren't allowed to talk about any of this stuff. This is all conspiracy theory and conjecture, but you weren't allowed to say. Wuhan lab leak. You had to believe it was a bat sandwich that caused all of this nonsense.
Absolutely. I should have had my Facebook, throw me in Facebook mug for this conversation today.
Yes.
All the time.
I still have mine. All right, before we get into it, let's watch the report here. Just came out yesterday as they indict at least the first person in this whole
The
thing.
Justice Department has charged David Morenz, a doctor, with conspiracy, claiming he concealed federal records to counter evidence that COVID-19 may have leaked from a lab in China, all to help restore a controversial coronavirus grant. Morenz, a former aide to Dr. Anthony Fauci, testified before the House's COVID Select Subcommittee nearly 2 years ago about emails he'd sent in February 2021, claiming that he'd learned to make emails disappear after he received Freedom of Information Act requests.
Ever delete or attempt to delete a federal record?
No, but let me explain why. When I came there in 1998, we were instructed to delete emails or to move them into PST files frequently because they jammed the computer.
The Justice Department says Morenz used his personal Gmail account to exchange non-public information. The indictment also claims an unnamed co-conspirator gave Morenz wine for his, quote, behind-the-scenes shenanigans, then suggested he could push scientific commentary in a prominent medical journal advocating that COVID-19 had natural origins. That's a competing claim with the lab leak theory. The indictment says the co-conspirator could also provide meals at top restaurants in Paris, New York, and Washington, D.C. In April 2020, the NIH terminated that BAT coronavirus grant awarded to EcoHealth Alliance, who then contracted the Wuhan Institute of Virology to conduct that research in China. From the start of the pandemic, its president, Peter Daszak, worked to discredit any theory that COVID-19 had leaked from that lab.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Rich. More to come. Rich Edson.
You know, I have to just bring this up because even Jon Stewart was smart enough to put the dots together and say it when he talked about, and you may remember this moment where he says, wait a minute, you're telling us the virus came from a bat sandwich, I think it was, just feet away from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. We weren't allowed to say Wuhan. We weren't allowed to say Wu flu or any of those things. And if it's somebody like Jon Stewart could put those things together, I would think, you know, obviously it doesn't take much, but here we are now in the find out era. And if they were willing to hide, you know, the origins of the thing, Missy, I'm blown away about all of this. What else did they hide?
Well, absolutely. I mean, what people made decisions based on this is what the government has done a decent job at, is getting people to trust you. doctors getting their patients to trust them. But what no one really understands is all the shenanigans, all the minions. It's diabolical, and it's horrible. And thank God, I mean, the first domino has to fall. So hopefully he sang like a bird. Hopefully he sang like a bird, and he gave up all the details that he needs. And there's a lot. I mean, I'm one of those, just like the listeners at home, that you want to see heads roll, but you can't watch heads roll in the middle of a corrupt system, because their backstage homeboy is gonna scoop them up. I mean, we see what's going on with Comey now. I mean, we have to like take off. It's happening. I mean, it's frustrating. I mean, I sit with clients all the time. I mean, this week was really hard so far. I'm working with clients who are dealing with life-altering things that have happened inside their body because they took the shot. I mean, it's horrible. It's horrible. I mean, and I just want to cry, because I think what I heard is, like, I want to say there's like 10% of the world didn't get the vaccine. They were able to convince 90%, I think it's something like that, 90% of the world to take it. And people they just don't know how to stop and get curious and ask questions.
I know I've told this story before, but even my wife, like,
frustrating,
up to the point where our second was being born. She's 3 now. So it'll be 4 on Halloween here. But even then, 4 years ago, she's going in to give birth, and they ask her when they're bringing her in, the kind of the triage area, bringing in we see that your records show that you have not had the shot. Would you like it now? Yes, I'd like it right now. In fact, I'm in labor right now. I'm going to have this baby right now. Go ahead and shoot me up with some weird juice. We have no idea. Some experimental.
Yeah.
It was insanity, the whole thing.
We don't even put diesel fuel in our car. We don't put diesel fuel in a car because we know it's going to have an $8,000 bill attached to it, or whatever it is. Yeah. But it's like, but look at this human body, and you're giving birth to human life, and let's put some foreign entity inside of it. Yeah. Are you crazy? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can't put diesel in a car that runs on gas, right? That's not going to end well. Same for your body there. But the good news is, and there is plenty of it right now, that we're seeing lots of
bring it on
come through that we're at record clips for revelation and also revolution. Right now, this is the New York Times, by the way, with the story, longevity science is overhyped, but this research really could change humanity. And it's all about cellular rejuvenation. A new therapy has the potential to cure hundreds of diseases and even reverse aging. And I thought to myself, well, it's really interesting, because maybe you can talk about a little bit about what you do too, because Missy, what you all do, My Pure Health Solutions, if folks don't know, they go through a process, and my wife and I are going through this right now. It's not just weight loss. We're really healing from the inside out. The process to make you healthy again. It's the Maha Revolution. So if the scale won't move, it's not your fault. If you're going through some of these other situations, maybe it's not your fault. There's a whole process of things that are happening behind the scenes. And this story about cellular rejuvenation, I think, nails it for a lot of folks.
Yeah. Well, shoot, do we have an hour or not? This is my wheelhouse. Yeah, this is cool. What these people are doing in this multi-billion-dollar lab is stuff I see every single day with normal people, because what these people are doing, this is amazing. And thank God information's getting out. There was a man that tried to do this in the 1920s and 30s. His name was Dr. Royal Rife. It didn't end well for him, because he showed the world that we can turn cancer cells off. All you have to understand is how cells work. Cells can be restored. The fountain of youth that everyone has chased around is like, is it drinking this? Is it drinking noni juice? Do you eat acai bowls? Do you eat this? Everyone's chasing it, right? It's an inside job. I mean, and so cells can be turned back on. And aging can be reversed. The body can be rebooted. And this is fun. What do you want to talk about? I mean, because your cells, most people don't understand. If I could give you the owner's manual to how your body works, we just had listed, and we just stick in the chapter called cells. We have 36 trillion cells inside the human body. Every single cell is operating just like a cell phone. It sounds crazy. Gotta call me. I'll tell you more. But what we have to do is we have to find out what cells, what systems inside your body controlling the whole show, which systems went offline, and we have to reboot them. We just have to restore the signal. We do that all the time. We restore the signal every time we turn our light switch on and off, on off, electricity on off. Our bodies are operating the same way. And over here, scientists are spending billions of dollars to do something that Dr. Royal Rife already did. And that's
people waking up and obviously taking stock of this now. And I think that movement, it's because of all of the things that we went through with Fauci and the rest of the people started to say, wait a minute. So, by the way, if you want to know more, we'll dig into this a little bit further. We got more stories we got to cover here. But if you're eating right and the scale won't move, or you've tried the shots and you're still stuck and the doctor says your labs are fine, but you know something just doesn't add up, you've done everything right, but your body still isn't responding, you're not failing.
Yeah.
The system is, and there's a cellular level, the process of those things can be changed to get your metabolism back on track. And Missy, I know you have a special for folks who are watching the program today.
Absolutely. I mean, running just for the Justin groupies. I mean, I bet I've been talking, and I love your listeners. They're so fun. I mean, I think it's because I get to show up differently on this platform than I do on other platforms, where I'm like, I feel like I'm sitting down, I get on the couch and I'm talking to the people and getting to know them. And it's a lot of fun being and helping people understand that I don't care, even if you don't have to lose weight. If your body has a lot of symptoms going on, that is just a telltale sign there's something off, and we just need to find out what that is, and then turn it and fix it and help you. I mean, don't give up. Do not give up. You need hope. And I'm hoping whoever is hearing this is understanding. I can't wait to explain how the body literally functions from the inside out and how it is able to heal and repair, because God is that good. You just have to know how the systems work. That's it.
You can get answers today. Call 269-964-4044.
Yep.
It's 269-964-4044, or go to healthwithjustin.com. You get 20% off the regular price with the spring reset. They've got right now, help turn your metabolism back on, drop 2 to 3 pant sizes. And you can balance those hormones, detox your cells, kill the brain fog, get rid of joint pain, sleep again, more energy. That's the thing. I've been sleeping so well lately. No joint pain issues. All the little things, all the energy that you have throughout the day. It's not just losing weight. There's so much that goes into this, Missy. It really is incredible. And my wife is particularly happy about being able to go shopping for new clothes. So that's part of the that's part of the fun as well.
Ladies, anything to help the ladies over there. I need a new wardrobe. Okay.
Yeah, no kidding. You're gonna help my wallet lose a little weight too. It sounds like while we're at it, but she loves it, so it's all good.
It's all good.
We got some more good news. Steak and Shake is the Maha revolution. Continues. Steak and Shake has a chief Maha officer. Now, I didn't know that, but they have a chief Maha officer. And I have to tell you, it's been a long time since I ate a Steak and Shake. But ever since they did the fries thing, I thought to myself, well, maybe I should try that. They've started using beef tallow with their fries. Well, they just made a new announcement. They're going to switch something up with their burgers now. And I got to say, I love the sound of this.
Congratulations. Tell us what a chief Maha officer actually does.
We are bringing fast food to what it was years ago, what my parents grew up with, what my grandparents grew up with, and what I grew up with for a short period of time. Real ingredients, real food that everyone can trust and pronounce.
And these are foods that we've been eating our entire lives. So tell us about what you're expecting to do. You're going to look at the menu and you're going to make some serious changes, right? Tell us about those changes.
We are. So, look, I think obviously Steak and Shake made a huge impact with the tallow fries. one of the first in the industry to do that. We're going seed oil free and looking at any and all opportunities to remove seed oils in the current landscape. One big move that we will be making come June 1st, we'll be rolling out grass-fed, grass-finished beef to all locations nationwide. We tested in local markets, and what we expected proved to be true. Customers loved it, so looking forward to that change.
That's big. I mean, obviously the fries, it's something so small but so significant when you look at the impact. Getting rid of the seed oils, people wonder why you have so many different issues, and maybe even like the weight that you have. Maybe it's inflammation from some of these things that we're eating that we shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And so talk about that. And we know about the seed oils. What about the move to the grass-fed, grass-finished beef at all of their locations?
I mean, let's go back to Little House on the Prairie days. Let's just wind the clock back and remember what it is that we used to eat. I mean, something he said was hilarious. He goes, food that you can eat and actually pronounce and know what it is. I mean, you go to the grocery store and you look at the ingredients label, and when the ingredients label is like this long and you need a microscope to see it, and then you need an encyclopedia to understand what it is, encyclopedia, Wikipedia, whatever it is. I mean, do you have all day long to sit there and just ask if this box of macaroni is going to be good for you? It's going to take you 30 minutes to go through the ingredient list and figure out what it is. The same thing's they've been feeding us this food that they've been manufacturing in labs does no good for the human body at all. Again, let's go back to the mentality. Every time you put something in your mouth, you're thinking, is this diesel fuel going into this machine that needs a gas? So the thing is like what these chemicals are going to do. First of all, I can't wait. I think they said June 1st is when it happens. I'm going to be there, and I hope that all these restaurants that are Steak and Shakes, I hope that they make nationwide news and get some of these other restaurants on board, because it's just like ride the wave, man. Be the first in line to say your health matters to us, and you can still enjoy a fast food burger and fries.
That's right.
Enjoy yourself. Come on, date night. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I love it. And I think, as you mentioned, the market will kind of adjust once you get that in there, and eating real food again. That's just, I know that sounds, it's so obvious, but we're at that point. All right. Speaking of which, the Maha Moms are very involved right now. Maybe you can help walk us through. This is another area that we're very aware of right now. The Supreme Court case over pesticides is bringing out the Maha Moms, and as CNN puts it, threats of consequences for the midterms. So talk about this, what they're discussing as far as pesticides. I know it's been such a big conversation recently in everything. As you mentioned, the chemicals that not just that we're eating, but the things that are put on the foods before we even get to our foods.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The pesticides. Again, what I do for a living, we use advanced technology to be able to scan the human body to find out what's causing the issue inside your body, what's causing your inflammation, your brain fog, your mood swings, your depression, your anxiety, the extra 50 pounds you got sitting on that gut of yours. No matter what you do, it's not moving. Well, because of the advanced technology that we use, one of the things that we are looking at are the types of toxins that the bodies are experiencing. So toxins are bacteria, viruses, heavy metal, molds, water contaminations, herbicides and pesticides, all this stuff, food and chemical dyes. We're looking at everything because all of that is static inside the body, and that static is causing your hormone systems to be disrupted, your gastrointestinal system, your detox system, your immune system. Your whole body is on the line when it comes to these toxins. And again, people don't think there's chemtrails going out, but I mean, again, that you just got to go do some look up in that sky of yours, because I can always tell it's going to be, it's sickening what I'm seeing going on inside people's bodies. They have no clue. And so bringing this to the attention of the pesticides, just spraying it on our ground. If people go and look, I don't know if we talked about this on air last time, but if you go and look, the people that live there's a country club over here by us, the Bell Creek Country Club. And it was just a few years ago that every single person on that line, there was cancer happening in every household. Like there was like 12 households over there. And again, it's just like, what, I mean, everyone's like, I wonder what's going on. Is it in the water? Yeah, it's in the water, because that grass that has got all the beautiful fertilizer on it that makes it plush and green, that makes everybody want to come spend their money on that beautiful golf course, has consequences. And so it's frustrating because people just don't know what they don't know.
What, Missy, what can people do? Maybe they're hearing this thinking like, I think I need to detox. I need to do something. Like, I'm concerned about maybe the food I'm eating or the environment, the situation I'm in. I saw somebody earlier talk about how they switched their toothpaste like you recommended before. What's their next steps? I mean, obviously you can call Missy. She would love to talk to you and walk you through some of those things.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. But what else can they do? Like if they just want like a blueprint of, hey, make those small changes.
Oh man, you know what? Next time, let me come on and do that, because I think about you guys all the time. I literally do. I think about the Justin people on Wednesdays, but I'm like, yay, the toothpaste. And then the next time, change out your deodorant. No aluminum underneath those armpits right here, because these are lymph nodes. These lymph nodes go right to breast tissue. Why is breast tissue so high? And let's have like, you know what? Maybe another thing is, maybe we really want to talk about what's going on when you're going to have your yearly mammogram thing. We want to talk about that too, because I would suggest S-radiate. There's a lot of stuff going on right there. That's a sidebar. I'm like, water. I mean, how much water is everybody really drinking every day? I mean, just look, I'm not asking you to go drink half your body weight in ounces. That wouldn't be a good thing. Honestly, I
think it's a good idea to put it on paper and like break it down next week.
Yeah,
Like,
I would love to do that and have like a little simple things to set you up for win. Oh, I know. I just bought. I'll show you guys next week the new detergent that I'm using in my dishwasher, because that Forever Plastic stuff. Yeah, I've been using Forever Plastic in my dishwasher.
We just made this move too about 6 months ago, and we were using those pods, and I get the same thing. So we got away from those.
Yeah.
And what we're using now cleans even better. So yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I think there's a lot, and you could give some real simple.
Oh,
Himalayan
Celtic salt. Start using Celtic salt. Stop using white salt. Celtic salt, Himalayan salt. That's a huge one right there.
We always have so many people that'll come up with questions, or maybe they'll ask in the chat. We don't have time, like while the show's rolling, to actually give you, every single answer, every single. So another thing that we've talked about, and if you love this Maha conversation, Missy's talked about maybe doing a fireside chat with me one night.
Oh yeah, I'm in.
We actually go through and answer your questions.
Yeah.
Free, but just hang out and answer the questions.
It gives me goosebumps. I love that stuff. Yeah.
The idea is just to get you answers as we walk through this stuff together.
Sure.
All right, Missy. Before I let you go, I got to make sure that we remind folks again. Incredible special right now. You have questions about how to get healthy from the inside out. Maybe you do want to lose weight. Maybe it's 2 to 3 pant sizes you want to drop in 40 days. You could do that. Balance your hormones, detox the cells, kill the brain fog, all of those things. Maybe you have the joint pain you're still dealing with, or you have hard time sleeping at night, or when you wake up, you don't feel rested. You just like to have more energy throughout the day. It's all part of the Maha mission that my wife, Lizzie, and I are on right now. And Maha Missy has been taking people through, not just with my show, Steve Gruber's show, nationwide. She's working with people all across the country. Trucker Randy up north. There are people all throughout Michigan right now going through this Maha revolution. Here's the best thing. No shots, no shakes, no pills, no exercise needed, no fake food, no gimmicks. If you want to find out more, in fact, take that spring reset with us in the Maha mission. 20% off, healthwithjustin.com, or call 269-964-4044. That's healthwithjustin.com, or call 269-964-4044. We'll make sure that you get that in the chat as well. But Missy, I would say you have nothing to lose but the weight.
And if you don't need to lose weight and you still have some serious health issues, I still can help. I mean, that's not that I still help with lots of people with lots of issues that isn't weight related.
That is a very good point, because my wife, I don't want to say everything because I'm not clear to do that, but she had an issue that has since been and miraculously resolved with advice from the help of Maha, Missy, and the charity, the folks at My Pure Health Solutions. And I'm telling you, it was. One day we'll talk about it.
I tell you, I have a lady came to me because she couldn't keep her pregnancy. She kept miscarrying after 2 weeks. 5 months pregnant. Her body rebooted. We reset it. We discovered what it was. The advanced technology shows us everything what's going on. So let's just say I'm going to be going to a baby shower in a few more months.
That's awesome. I love to hear that. And look at how much of an effect that has on people. I mean, losing weight is great, right? But when you do something like this, you're changing their family and their family tree for years down the road. It's just incredible. Missy, always a pleasure with you. Thank you for taking the time, and thank you for everything you do on the fight. You're making a big difference. Such an impact on the folks in this country in Michigan and that listen to this program and beyond. Thank you. We appreciate you.
God bless you, Justin. Bye.
You too. Go online, folks. Check it out at healthwithjustin.com. Find out all the details. Just schedule your call. Talk to Missy in person. You'll have a great time with her on the phone. And that's probably the best part, right? Is all the fun that you'll have in that phone call. 269-964-4044 or healthwithjustin.com. The Maha Revolution. It starts with you. Make it a great one. God bless.